making seamless repeating patterns might be a bit of a challenge. So there's countless ways to do it. We've looked at them in class. I mean, you can do this by, you could do it by hand. You could basically put it on paper, and we looked at that. I've mentioned that you could do it in Photoshop. If you're comfortable with that, go ahead, do that. Procreate. So doing it in Procreate, totally different. Another way that you can do it. Having said all that, there is a way that I think is really fun and easy, and that's Adobe Illustrator. I had some students make some doodles on the whiteboard, and I had another student take a picture of them. I'll make a new Adobe Illustrator file. So the final pattern is going to be 8 by 10 inches. Might as well make it 8 by 10 inches. So here we go. So this new file is 8 by 10 inches. So starting out the file with the right format is key. Here we go. 8 by 10. CMYK. Create. I'm also going to be showing the rulers. Click, hold down, and drag. I get a guideline. So I'm going to take it over to the midway point 4, and I'm going to do the same for the horizontal. So go up to the top, click, drag, and I'll go down to 5. This is the portion that we're going to be focused on for this project. And by the way, if you don't see layers, just start out by going to Workspace, Essentials Classic. That will show you basically what I have over here. And then you can click on layers. And if you still don't see it for whatever reason, you can just go to help. And when you type in layers and help, it actually shows you where you can find stuff. So I want layers, it shows me where it is. It's right there. So if I click on that, it will open up. And it's already checked, which means it's here. It's already here. So I'm going to go over to layers, make a new layer. So drag that Doodles JPEG, so the photo that we took in the class, or one of the students took, and just drag it in. Now it's huge, so I'm going to just click on the zoom tool over here, and I'm going to click on, so on my keyboard here, it's Alt. I believe it is Option on a Mac. Could be wrong, but I want to zoom out. Okay, now I can see it, and you can see the page is really small. So this is just a really high-res photo. So I'm going to scale it down. So hold down Shift as I'm scaling, hold it down, and I want these drawings to basically fit in 1/4. So if I hit Windows 0, or on your Mac keyboard hit Command 0, you zoom into the page level. So it's, yeah, that's not bad. Actually, that's pretty good. That's a good size. I want to convert this into vectors. So I'm going to select it, Window. Image trace is kind of 2/3 of the way down. Click on that. I'm going to have a much easier time converting this into vector if I just go with black and white. So instead of going color, so I'll just show you what that looks like. If I hit preview with color, and it looks like colors, there's 30 colors chosen. This just gets incredibly complicated. It's going to be very complicated shapes. Yeah, these are all just way too complicated. So just black and white. And there we go. Yeah, immediately. Much easier. So I'm going to click here. So we've got these options. If you don't have these options, you'll have this advanced. Click on that, and it'll open up some of these sliders here. So first thing I want to do is figure out my threshold. The further to the left I go, the lighter it becomes. The further to the right I go, the darker it gets. So I kind of want to get it as dark as I can get it without it turning into that. Try to get things a little bit cleaner. And I do recommend, just try moving these around. I'm going to call that good. I'll hit expand. So I want to delete all these all these things that are extraneous, things I don't want to deal with. So I'm going to ungroup here, conveniently it says ungroup. If you're looking for that, it's up here in object, ungroup. What that lets me do is now I can select these things, select all the parts that I don't want to keep, and just delete them. So I'm going to just select all this and hit delete. Now unfortunately it does mean that some of these drawings are just disappearing. Got all this junk, delete, delete. So all I'm doing is just selecting it and just hitting delete on my keyboard. By the way, I am using a Mac Mini. Don't ask. I don't know why I have a PC keyboard. It was just easier. I just had one lying around. That's what I decided to use. All right, got more stuff here to delete. I think that's good. Here's the problem. They all, because I ungrouped them, these parts move around independently. Okay? So in order to prevent that, so I'm just going to undo all that stuff, I have to group these together. So I'm going to select this, group it. I know that there's some words down here that say pickle. I'm going to delete them, and I'll tell you why in a second. But let's just finish doing this. Group this. I'm going to group all that. Now, just so that I don't accidentally select stuff that isn't part of this other drawing. Oops, let's just move these away. Oh, did I miss a part? I think I did. Let's just select that again. Group. In class, I talked about the rules, and I'm just going to drag them in. You can't have alphabetical letters and glyphs, so that's why I got rid of the words. You can't have numbers, you can't have emojis, you can't have abstract symbols. So it's basically anything with a prescribed meaning you can't have, which leaves us with abstract shapes that don't have any prescribed meaning. You'll notice one of the things I have here is heart, and I do notice that somebody's sketch here has a heart. I also would prefer to not have emotions, so like you've got this smiley face here. I'd really like it if that wasn't there. I hate to do it, but let's just delete that. There is a bit of a smile here. Okay, and I'm using the white. By the way, even though this is grouped together, when I use the white arrow tool, I can select individual elements and delete them. There we go. Deleted. Maybe I'll delete that too. Well, all I'm doing is I'm trying to arrange it sort of in this area. Select all the elements, go to Object, Pattern, Make. So what it's done is, if you look at this window up here, it says it's creating new pattern. Oh, I have to hit OK here. So new pattern has been added to the swatches panel. Oh, it's already added it. Okay, so here we go. This is the swatches panel. And if we look at over here, it's already added a new pattern. So I didn't even think about that, but so good. Any changes made while in pattern editing mode will be applied to the swatch upon exit. So I'll hit OK. I kind of like the idea that I already made a pattern. Is it great? No. We've got these options up here. So any changes I make, I can make a new pattern. I can save a copy. Let's experiment. I can move around any element that's in here, and you can see as I move it around, it moves around all the copies too. Well, how do we make this more interesting? Well, glad you asked. We've got this, making interesting patterns. So this is something that we talked about in class, how you can make your patterns interesting. So grouping objects, size variation, offsetting, rotation, reflection, color variety. So let's start experimenting with some of this stuff. I can either hit Command C, Command V, which is copy paste, or I can drag it down, and on the PC I'm going to hold down Alt, which is going to make a copy, and I'm going to let's make a smaller version of this. And if I just kind of go to the corner, it creates this little arrow, and I can turn it. And let's reflect it. So I'm going to go Object, Transform, Reflect. Good. And we'll just hit OK. Good. So now we're creating a little bit more variation here, which will make our pattern automatically look a little more interesting. Let's we'll put a copy of the flowers down here. Again, I think I'm just going to transform, reflect it. Okay, and I'm going to make it a little bit smaller maybe. But let's save this. This is a new version. Save a copy. We'll call it, yes, new pattern 2. That's fine. Okay. Now let's introduce some color. If I select this, if I double click it, I can actually select new colors. I could select them in the swatches. So up here, there's predetermined swatches. I can also, let's bring this out so I can see what's going on here. if I click on here and go CMYK, we've got sliders. Let's see if we can get those open. Show options. So here I can change the color here. So I can make it, I can change the percentages. So in this case, I think I'm just going to leave it, I'm going to leave all the outlines black. You can do whatever you want. I'm leaving them black. You could use the pen tool. I'll show you what that looks like. So over here, and actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new layer. Oh, I can't make a new layer. That's fine. That doesn't matter. So I'll just make a new, I'll just make a shape that kind of matches the shape of this character. And it takes, so if you don't know how to use the pen tool, it takes some practice. If you would rather not use the pen tool, I'm going to show you a way that's a lot quicker. A lot quicker. Let's just undo that. Actually, yeah, that's fine. Okay, I'm going to make this kind of a pink. I think that's a little bright, so now this is where I'm going to go into colors and just tone it down a little bit. There we go. So I want this color to sit behind, so if I go up to Object and Arrange, I want to send to back, or send backwards, send to back. That puts it behind the outline. Yes. Okay, so when you click and hold some of these items, there's options that are hidden. So I want the pencil tool. I'm going to show you this. So pencil tool is way more, it just flows. So I just have to kind of like, if I want this to have a fill, I'm just kind of tracing around the shapes of the flowers. And I know approximately where I started, so I'm going to try to end up there. And there we go. Same thing, just a lot quicker. And I'm going to choose a color. And I want to, so I've got, that's the fill selected. I'll use the eyedropper tool and select that. There we go. I got the exact same color. I'm going to send that one to back as well using the keyboard shortcut. Maybe this froggy guy is going to be green. I think that's fitting. Call that done. And now we'll save this one as well. Save a copy. Pattern 4. Okay. So when I'm done, let's just say I'm done this session, done experimenting, I'm going to hit done. And now I'm back to what I started with here. And if I go to layers, so I'm going to hide that. This is where Illustrator is just phenomenal. Is if I hit new layer here, so now I've got a new layer, and this is where I'm going to put my pattern. So let's say, let's pretend I'm totally ready to finalize this. And I go, okay, I'm done. I'm going to use the rectangle tool. I'm going to go bigger than the size of the page, just to make sure that I fill that page. And you can see it's got a fill of black. Don't worry about that. That doesn't even matter. What matters is I can go to this swatch and I can choose, let's just choose the last pattern I did. So you can see all 4 of my patterns are here. I'm going to choose this one, and it just automatically fills it in. And it doesn't matter how big I make this, it will just fill it in. Okay, so it's really fun to experiment with this. It's just so satisfying. If I double click this icon over here, so going into swatches, if I double click this, I'm right back into edit mode. So I hope you saw that. Let's just, I'm going to click done. Let's say I want to edit this again. So I go, yeah, let's edit. I'm right back in it. So let's say I'm like, oh, this background is really boring. I want some extra little bits here. Maybe I'll do just some kind of random shapes. And let's make them, let's stick with that pink kind of tone. And so I'm just copying and pasting a whole bunch of, I don't even know what this is. let's just say save a copy. Just to be safe, save a copy, call it pattern 5, good. So now it's saved that pattern as pattern 5. So I'm going to pretend that this is my final pattern. I'm happy with it. It's all good. Now I have to save it. So right, it's really important. Save your file. Save your Adobe Illustrator file. Save. And if we want to pretend that I am ready to save this as my final, then I'm going to go File. I'm going to hit Export As, and I'm going to export it as a PDF. Export. And again, I'm going to hit my favorite PDF X1A 2001 because I know that it prints flawlessly. Now you look at this AI, this Adobe Illustrator, and you're looking at this pattern that I made, and you're like, well, it's spilling out. It's bigger than the outline here. Isn't that a problem? It is not a problem, and I'll show you why. So let's just close this up. And I saved it on my desktop. Here it is. Let's open it up. You'll see it's perfect. It's exactly what I want. Okay. Now I just have to set up my final file, and just as we talked about in class, your final file is going to be 11 by 17, so 17 wide, 11 inches high, and your two patterns are going to be butted against each other right in the middle, and when you put these two together, you are left with a 1/2 inch white border all the way around. Okay? So that's it. Have fun. Experiment with Adobe Illustrator, and make sure that you look at ideas for making your patterns interesting, because it really will help. See you next class. Bye.